Live from the 5th floor of Fondren Library in the beautiful campus of SMU in the Big D, you're listening to the Mustang Mood Podcast.
Welcome, everybody. Episode 10. We've made it this far.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought?
Some great guests along the way as well.
Yeah, some great guests along the way.
Really special ones today.
For sure. That's for sure. We're about to get into that, but first I wanted to just reintroduce ourselves because I know it's been a while since we've done that. My name's Walker, class of 21, accounting major.
Yeah, I'm Jay, class of 21 as well, mechanical engineering.
Ben, class of 2020, sport management.
And Yannick's not here, unfortunately, but that's all right. We got some great guests.
Yeah.
He said we're kicking him off the podcast. Like, what was it? Like, we're Mark Zuckerberg, and he's the guy that got Facebook. Yeah,
the guy that got kicked out.
No one knows who he is. And that's about to be Yannick. No one's going to know who he is.
There's always one of those guys.
But anyways, we're just
even more important than us. We've got some awesome guests today.
Yeah, absolutely. But first, the reason we started this podcast because we're just buddies that just love talking about SMU football, SMU sports in general, and we just wanted to share that love with everyone else and just kind of fire up the fan base and get everyone excited. And hopefully that does that for y'all. Hopefully y'all enjoy this. But to introduce our guests, we're excited. We've got two guests this time: Jonathan McGill, safety, and Jake Bailey, wide receiver. Welcome, guys. Glad to have you all on.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Both team captains as well.
Yeah, both
congrats
team captains.
That's exciting.
So let's just jump right in.
So we were just talking a little bit about NCAA like 2009 or whatever on the Wii. But have y'all had the chance to play college football 25 yet? And
Yeah. So I played a couple of times actually at John's house. I don't have a game personally. I don't play the game too much, so I had to go over to John's to play it. It was crazy to see everybody in the game, especially on our team, guys interact with and see them, be able to play with them in the game and use them. It was just incredible. I thought, our ratings specifically were, generous. It could have been a little higher, but they were nice.
Humble.
They could have been a little higher, but they were nice. So it was cool to see. It was cool to see all that.
Are you able to throw to other people, or do you only throw to yourself?
So when I first played him, I just wanted to use my guy, and he knew. So he would just double my play the whole game. Wouldn't let me throw a pass to him. Wouldn't let him do anything. So I was like, whatever. But no, it was still really fun.
Yeah, no, I think it's really cool. I play it a lot whenever we had a chance. In fall camp right now, we got a little bit stricter schedule, but guys on the team, it's funny. We play like SMU versus SMU, mix and match uniform combinations, see which ones look the best, which ones, don't. But anytime I'm playing one of my friends or anything, I play with SMU, and I use her myself on defense.
Nice. And
then I put myself back at punt return, and I try to put myself at like receiver. So like, if I get an interception with anybody, like I just run to myself and just pitch it to myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, I definitely try to abuse myself on the game.
Hey, can't blame you. Heck yeah,
that's awesome. As like playing as yourself, do you is there any skill that you think that may translate to actual football, or is it just like video game? It's a whole nother world.
Well, what I thought was kind of cool was they had like the attributes, both mental and physical. So like my mental attributes, they had like headstrong and like road dog, like on the road being solid in road games and things like that. So I thought that was like a realistic deal, and it was pretty cool to see how they could like really figure that out and put it in the game. So it was cool.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
On the flip side, I don't have any abilities or attributes, so I didn't think it was realistic.
If you could give yourself abilities and attributes, what would you give yourself?
I mean, I feel like, kind of similar to the little like road dog or, whatever, like cool, calm, collected on the road, just some stuff like that. But they got my strength like as a violation. I think I got like a 52. What? It's crazy. I don't know. I don't know where they got the numbers from. But, that's the only problem I have with it. But that's about it.
That's the crazy thing about our ratings. Like our offense is rated really well in the game, like 15, 16, something like that. But then a defense was left out of the top 25.
Yeah, host.
Like, did you watch any of our games from last season?
Yeah, last year
y'all are all over
crazy.
the field. Yeah. So
y'all talking about? Well, actually, I want to ask, who's the best player on like NCAA 25 player? Have y'all like played against each other?
You would know better than me.
On the team.
I mean, I played Kevin Jennings. I beat Kevin. I killed Jake. I think like Kobe Wilson's kind of good. Kind of your typical gamers like Kobe, Brandon Crossley. I think Mike Lockhart is pretty good.
Okay.
and Ahmad Moses. Those are the guys. CJ Sanders ended up bringing his PlayStation into the locker room. So in between meetings, like guys try to get a quick game, and Mike Lockhart is usually always on. So I mean, if he's always on, he's probably always winning. So
That's
Fair
awesome.
enough.
yes, sir.
What do y'all think about Rhett's proposal to play Norvell for the
I thought that
coin
was
toss?
hilarious. I don't know what type of guy Norvell is. I know Coach Lashley likes to keep it. Coach Lashley likes to keep it light, keep it fun. I don't know if Norvell is about that. I think it would be a pretty cool thing to see, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
I never called Coach Lashley Rhett, by the way.
Yeah.
I never called him.
Maybe we should call him Coach Lashley too.
Yeah, sorry, that's on me. That's me, Coach.
Yeah, facts.
Sorry, guys. Don't get mad at me.
Yeah. You're gonna be running after this. Y'all were talking about favorite jerseys. Which one looks better? What is y'all's favorite jersey?
Ooh, that's a good question. Go ahead.
I like the All Blacks are pretty clean. I think they fit the best. Like they're but I mean I think they're probably the newest ones. But I mean the white Dallas, the blue Dallas, and the blue SMUs are kind of like the top of mine. Hopefully we get some red uniforms, and I think that's in the works, possibly. But I think the All Blacks, the white Dallas, and then I would say like the blue SMU is probably my top three.
Not bad.
Gotcha.
Everybody says the All Blacks. Of course, they're nice. I probably wouldn't say they're my favorite. I like the older ones we wore. We wore them twice in 22. We wore them against Maryland. We wore them against Tulsa. All white with the red block letters, red SMU. I just think that it was super clean look. Those jerseys fit really well. The pants fit really well, I remember. So I was always comfortable in that jersey.
Nice.
Do y'all know our opinion on the jerseys?
What do you think?
Don't one of y'all like hate the All Blacks, or am I tripping?
I think all of us don't like them.
Really?
Really?
They're our least favorite of our like regular jerseys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just like SMU's not really like when you think SMU, you think red and blue.
Yeah.
And so black's not one of those colors.
Yeah.
But what we really hate is back in 2017, we wore these black jerseys with red numbers and black pants and then this like chrome red helmet. And we looked like Christmas like ornaments on the helmet. It was really bad. It didn't look like SMU at all. There was no blue on it at all.
Look like Tech or something.
They looked like Tech.
Yeah.
And so
Houston.
so those are our
Or Houston. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
Those
guys
are
think
our
about
favorite
having
all
the
time.
Dallas script on the chest?
Oh, we
instead
love
of-
it.
Oh,
like-
yeah.
We love it, yeah.
Well, I've seen a lot of like, some of the older fans and some of the alumni are like, it's not University of Dallas, it's SMU, and some controversy there. But you guys, you like?
No, we don't
I get
care
it.
about
I mean,
that.
I think
It's
it looks
sick.
super.
We
cool.
love the Dallas jerseys, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of the kind of like Dallas's team rebrand.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
good for the team and just kind of connecting with the city more because they talk about the bubble, but
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like to kind of burst the
So
bubble.
if y'all got to choose what the red uniform would look like, what would you do?
Oh, so the secret's already out about that. Everybody already knows about that.
what secret?
we're not everybody. I mean, maybe Billy Embody does, but we don't.
I wasn't even sure. We didn't even. Did you get confirmation on that?
There's not confirmation, but
It's
there's,
out
there's,
there.
There's speculation.
We
If I
thought
had
that
to
there
guess-
might be, but we didn't know for sure.
If I had to guess, we'd get the red with the white Dallas script and probably some white pants.
Okay.
Something like
Okay.
that. If
That's
I had
cool.
to guess.
Is it like which SMU script? Like the new one on the white jerseys?
No,
from
he
last
said
year,
Dallas,
or-
I
Right, probably.
Oh, Dallas.
I would. I mean, maybe they put the regular SMU on.
Probably
but
just SMU.
I
would
hope they
assume.
put the script on it. I want.
That'd be pretty sick.
yeah.
Yeah,
the
I would
red
assume
Dallas.
kind of just red and white. I don't know what exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
But maybe because I think a couple years ago, I think y'all had like it was a red alternate jersey.
Yeah.
That I think Chad Morris was the head coach at that
Yeah.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I came on a visit and I wore that jersey actually for some pictures.
Oh, nice.
Back
Yeah, that was the last time we wore red was
Yeah.
when with Chad.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's red white. I didn't like when they did red.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
too much.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Too
it's
much
red
red.
white. Yeah.
And as long as the helmet's not chrome, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't stand the
It was pretty
helmet.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
That's awesome. Which game would you want to wear the red?
I mean, the obvious answer is Florida State. The New Jersey with the biggest game or one of the biggest games on the schedule. But I don't know. Honestly, any game, a homecoming game would be cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll say Florida State for now.
Okay, cool.
Say that.
Maybe like like BYU,
Yeah.
maybe kind of something
Revenge
early.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of something early. Because Florida State, you kind of want to keep it traditional.
Right.
Homecoming, obviously, you want to keep it traditional. Maybe like senior night. If the seniors get a chance to choose the uniforms. You know.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool.
Fair enough.
Now you're talking about revenge game with BYU. How like fresh on the mind is that bowl loss a couple of years ago?
That game hurt. I didn't even play in that game. I was hurt, but that game still hurts.
Really?
You know, it came down to the wire. I mean, we made some just boneheaded plays, shot ourselves in the foot. But they played a great game as well. But, you know, it came down to a last-second 2-point conversion. We didn't, you know, unfortunately didn't get it. But, you know, it was painful. Guys in the locker room were hurting, and we remember that. So, yeah, we're excited to hopefully get them back this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for me, I didn't get a chance to play him. I was still at Stanford at the time, but I did play BYU legit the game before y'all played them, the last game of the season. Yeah, so it was Puka Nakua, Jaren Hall, all of those guys. So they beat us, and so it is a little bit revenge for myself too. So
Nice.
can get a chance to get some revenge with my new team here with my guys at SMU.
Let's go. Speaking of Stanford, what do you think about the tree mascot?
It's I mean it's Stanford. It's different. It's a different place. Very unique. I didn't know really much about it. I thought I knew it was Stanford Cardinal, but I thought it was referring to the bird when it's actually referring to the color. So it's like the Cardinal, like not the Cardinals.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
I've always wondered why there was no S.
Yeah, so it's just like Cardinal red. And so I learned that probably like freshman year, doing like orientation and all that type of stuff. They tell you about the school. And so yeah, I mean probably one of the most unique mascots in college football.
Absolutely.
Just a
Definitely
dancing tree.
It's hilarious. I
with
love it.
like, ornaments and stuff like that on it.
When the picture came out of all the mascots in the ACC and the tree's just like sitting there, just looking absolutely ridiculous, I just lost it. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, it's a
So
unique
funny.
place.
So how do you feel about getting to play against your alma mater?
I'm excited. You know, kind of similar to Jake last year when he got a chance to play against Rice.
Nice.
I got some guys on the team that I'm still friends with. I was like a junior when they were freshmen. Alec Ironmaner, one of like their best receivers. We used to go at it like one-on-ones against each other. And he was a guy that always wanted to soak up information. A whole bunch of guys in the back end, the secondary were young when I was like a senior. So I'm excited for it. Get a chance to go back. Last time I went back was for graduation, but get a chance to go back. It's gonna be different. Walk into the visitors locker room. And, seeing some, support staff that was there when I was there. And it's a new coaching staff, but, some turnover with, the director of football operations and, that type of stuff. So I'm excited for it. My family's excited to go back. My sister loved the weather. She tells me every single day, like, hey, like your Stanford games, like were a lot of fun for me and my nephew who's 5. And so, they went to the TCU game and they was like dying.
Oh gosh.
That game was so bad.
Last year, it was horrible.
Yeah, they're excited to go back. They had a couple of spots that, they went to. So it should be fun.
Nice.
That's fun.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Or is there any kind of banter going back and forth with some of your old teammates or anybody?
I mean, naturally so. I think, we're all competitive. Me and one of the safeties, we play like video games a lot together. And so it was kind of a joke. And then when the schedule actually dropped and we actually had Stanford and it was at Stanford, I'm like, okay, like now it's a little bit more serious. But when the talks with the ACC where we were, going back and forth, but now it's kind of, just friendly banter, just another game on the schedule for me. But, should be a fun time.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Now, Stanford's got a great stadium in Palo Alto. Like, can y'all, you'll have both played for other teams, been to a lot of different stadiums. Do y'all have like a favorite away venue that you've been to?
Ooh, good question. Good question. I always say Arkansas was really, really fun, loud. They call the Hogs, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's loud. That's a cool place to play. What else? Texas always, they always got something good going on over there. Those are probably my top 2 right now.
Yeah, I would say for me, I played at Notre Dame my senior year, which was crazy. Night game. NBC.
Y'all beat them.
We did beat them 16-14.
Crazy game.
So it was like crazy. The like stadium was like they like blacked out the stadium and then they put the flashlights on at the start of the 4th quarter. Like crazy atmosphere. And I would say like, Oregon and Washington, like the entire game is just loud. Like me and Jake sitting right next to each other. I couldn't talk to him. Like we would have to be screaming at each other.
Wow.
And OU last year was I like OU last year.
That was a good.
It was fans were
Yeah,
legit
they could
right
reach
there.
out and touch you when you're on the sideline talking about the last drive. Like,
Yeah.
that was right in your ear.
Yeah, there is no sideline
Yeah.
in that stadium.
Not
That
at
was a fun
all.
one. That
Not
was
at all.
loud. They got loud, too.
Yeah.
I'm always kind of worried about like the cheerleaders or something because they're just like right on the field.
Yeah.
It's like if they get hit, like
Yeah.
Oh.
head into the brick wall, like better be careful, man.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I haven't played there. My brother played at Nebraska, University of Nebraska, and going out to those games, I remember, I was probably like 12, 13, 14, and I could still remember, like, that was the loudest place, like 100,000 strong every game, no matter the record. Like, those fans are rowdy, crazy. It was just packed with energy.
Really better than Texas.
That stadium, Nebraska is my favorite to this day, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. I haven't played there, only as a fan, too, so.
Wow.
That's cool.
And how do you like stay composed? Because like I know me as a fan, like I get super nervous. Like how do you guys stay composed when you're facing those kinds of crowds?
I think it's just remembering, why you're there, what you're doing there, all the training you've done up until that point. You could sometimes get psyched out until you realize, I've done what I'm about to do 1,000 times before it. So, it's just another rep. But no, it's human nature to feel those emotions. It's loud when you can feel the ground, you feel the turf shaking, the stadium's rocking. Like you feel that.
Sick.
So the first play at an OU game, I'm like, okay, it is a little loud out here. But then you get into it and you're like, all right, it's time to go.
Okay.
Put that to the side.
Yeah, I think as a fan, it's always worse than like being a player. Because when you're a player, it's like you kind of forget about the crowd kind of once you get into the flow of things.
Gotcha.
Where like growing up, I was a Cowboys fan, and I know like for a fact I was always more nervous watching those games compared to like if I'm just playing a game. But yeah, kind of like what Jake said, kind of just stacking reps in practice, knowing that whatever you've done, like you've done it 1,000 times over. As a defensive player, it's always quiet when you're at an away side or like when you're at an away game because like teams really don't scream when the offense is on the field. So quarterbacks can, signal and get all the checks.
Right.
So for us, it's more of like when a third down, like we give up a third down and the crowd goes crazy.
Gotcha.
Or we give up a touchdown and pew, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like cannon shooting, right? Like that's the worst. That's the absolute worst feeling. Like when you're at an away stadium and somebody gives up a bomb or, you know, they score a touchdown and the crowd just erupts. Because it's usually pretty mellow when we're on the field.
That makes
so
sense.
kind of just balancing those highs and lows, trying to stay composed and consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And then coming from Rice, what was that transition like to SMU? And then kind of what are some main differences that you see between the two programs?
Yeah, good question. So it was a lot of differences as far as like the actual offense. I was changing offenses and the playbook and all that type of thing. Whereas Bryce was a very pro style, control the clock, run the rock, control the clock, play good defense. That was kind of their motto. Whereas I get to SMU and we're just chucking the ball around the place, throwing it 50, 60 times a game, a receiver's dream. So just because of that, coming over to SMU, being in this type of offense was just a lot better for me personally. But that's not to say I didn't have a great experience at Rice. I did. The people I met, the relationships I built there was amazing, and I thank them for everything over there. But the biggest difference I saw at SMU was just, a little higher, stage to show, my ability on the football field and, ultimately give myself the best opportunity to reach the next level. So that was pretty much what drove that decision.
Sweet. They got a big stadium too, don't they?
Rice has a really big stadium, and it's honestly pretty cool. It like seats 70, 80,000. If they could pack that thing out, it would be. If they could pack that out, it would be electric. Like when JFK was there, how many years ago? Giving that speech, and that thing was packed out. Stop it! I know it was a long time ago. It was a long time ago. But, if they could ever get that back, like they have the seating for it, the stadium for it. It's a cool spot.
Yeah, they're like the last one left out of the Southwest Conference. They're still like left behind.
Right. Yeah, no. But they got a lot of pride over there, a lot of history, so it's a good spot.
Yeah,
for sure.
Same question for you about Stanford. What has that been like for you?
Yeah, it's different. Kind of from the same tree. So Bloom was the run game coordinator at Stanford from like 2014.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah, from 14 to like 2017.
Okay.
So a lot of the motto of controlling the clock, picking up first downs, playing defense, getting off the field on third down, was kind of something I was used to. Compared to, we come over here and our first practice, I think we go like team tempo. Like they got Stanford, we only went tempo, like 2-minute drill. So like when we came over, and it's like the first period, my first spring practice, and I'm talking about they lining up on the ball like in 5 seconds, like running routes. And I'm looking over. I'm like, what is going on? Like, and that's just how we start practice. I think we move at a faster pace than what I was accustomed to at Stanford. The nightlife and city life, and it's more things to do. I would say in Dallas, I'm from here, more familiar.
Gotcha.
I can get barbecue if I want to.
There we go.
Not eating, poke at, in California.
Heck
And
yeah.
nothing wrong with poke. I actually
Seafood's probably a bit better there, but
it's fresher.
Yeah.
But my family is from Louisiana, and so I'm used to like Cajun type of seafood compared to like, just catching fish and that type of stuff. But,
I gotcha.
I think culturally it's different. Football wise, I would say I've had great teammates out there, great relationships. Grateful for my time out there and the friendships I made, the coaches that were able to coach me. But it's just culturally different. But in terms of how we operate, I would say both programs operated at a Power 5 level before SMU was a Power 5. We still operated at a very high level last year.
Yeah,
For sure.
What's your favorite barbecue spot in Dallas?
I got a debate. I've been debating. I like Terry Black's and I really like Hutchins.
yeah.
Has to
I've
be
heard,
Terry
yeah.
Black's for me.
I
haven't had Hutchins, I don't think.
Hutchins has the Texas Twinkie, which is like really, really good.
What is that?
Yeah.
So it's like stuff like jalapeno, but like they carve out the jalapeno, they put like cream cheese in it with brisket
Yeah.
and wrap it with bacon.
Wow.
And then they
Alright.
smoke it and then throw like some barbecue sauce on it.
Okay.
So like it's really good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But I would say like the sides at Terry Black's and the brisket is better than Hutchins. But Hutchins has really good burn-ins. So I mean it kind of it depends what you want. I've been eating a lot. Hopefully, I stay in shape.
Hutchins is kind of out the way though, huh?
Yeah, it's in McKinney.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Terry Black's right down the street.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Easy spot.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you were talking about speed and practice. How helpful is that as like a defensive player that you're facing an offense that's fast all the time versus being a little slower in practice and then having to go up to game speed?
Yeah, I would say it's very beneficial. We talk about it all the time as a defense. Like sometimes, even when we don't have refs out there, like going against the offense, it's almost an unrealistic look because there's no chains getting set, and there's like they go like I'm telling like they talking about lightning speed. And so when you get to a game and there's substitutions or there's TV timeouts or there's stoppage in play, like it makes us like really, I would say, just be able to focus on each and every play. When you're stacking reps against an offense that moves as fast as we do, it's like pretty easy to get your cleats in the ground and just play football when you go to a game. Because practice, to me, games are always cleaner than practice. Things are, smoother. It's an easier look. It's kind of just, practice sometimes can be a lot based on what coaches want to give you, the scout team look and all of that type of stuff. So I think games are a lot cleaner than practice.
For sure. And Jake, Jonathan gave the Texas to California perspective. What's the Cali to Texas perspective?
You noticed a
on your
little
end?
bit of hate. Like
He's like he was just saying they're just different.
Like
I love the weather though. Shout out the weather.
No, different.
No. Because besides food, he swears he's Mr. California because he went to Stanford for 4 years. Now he's a Californian.
I'm a little
native. He'll say he's a local, but then start talking about the food and then crap on it. But nah. I would say Texas food, it's just the diversity. They have so much diversity here, especially I was in Houston my first 2 years at Rice, so Houston's food was crazy. They had everything you could ever want there. Same here in Dallas. There's a ton of options. I would say California or, SoCal food might be a little healthier. Maybe a couple more healthy
I think
spots.
definitely.
Yeah, maybe a couple more healthy spots, but I'm not a health freak. I eat whatever pretty much. But I do like what I like at home. I will say there's some couple spots, Board and Brew, sandwich spots, Nalu's, your seafood, your Hawaiian food, that type of stuff. So I do miss the local spots sometimes, but in general, I would say it stacks up pretty even.
Sweet. And you went to St. John Bosco, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know King Large? And have y'all talked about maybe common experiences or anything like that?
Oh, dude, me and King are boys. Mind you, he's 5-6 years younger than me.
Yeah,
right. He's a young guy, freshman, but great kid, Bosco kid, but we still share that. Even though we weren't there together, we still share that brotherhood all the time. We talk about Coach Negro, the head coach at Bosco, and some of our mutual friends. And it's good to see some of the guys getting out to Dallas. A lot of those guys go to SC, UCLA, Oregon, stay on the West Coast. But it's good to see us getting some Bosco dudes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, he's a great guy. He's
Really
been
cool.
on the
Super
podcast
nice.
a couple times now.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so he's Yeah,
He's
a-
fun.
Humble kid, really cool kid.
Yeah,
For sure.
Works his butt off. So
exactly.
excited for him.
Yeah. And what was I going to ask? Oh, so we learned from Isaac that we just had no idea how particular people were about their footballs.
Mhm.
You know, like he told us that, you know, what he likes, and he said that Preston kind of likes the same ball as him, but Kevin likes a completely different football.
Right.
Do you as a receiver have a preference?
Absolutely. That is such a good question. And like, it doesn't get talked about. It gets talked about like among the receivers.
I'm sure it's like a pretty hot topic.
Pre-practice and
Yeah.
stuff. But like once you're in the game, you know, you can't, you're using whatever ball, you know, but no, my personal preference is like a naked ball, like a kicker's ball almost, like
Okay.
Isaac's talking about.
Yeah.
Like just worn in, you know what I'm saying? Kind of hard to describe, like kind of like bare almost. It's just like really smooth, really grippy,
Rounded off edges.
You know what I'm saying? Kind of almost like not a rugby ball, but like that getting there. I know some quarterbacks like a super tough, like in that triangle, like hard edged ball, like a brand new ball right out of the bag. It'll just like break your fingers if you catch it, like not a clean spiral. So it's like as a receiver, I like those smooth, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Worn down, broken in, you know, those type for sure.
Yeah, I think he mentioned it as like he talked about like putting it in the dryer and like beating it up and stuff like that.
Like putting shaving cream on it,
Yeah.
brushing it. And
Yeah,
It
yeah.
takes a while for no. They have people. That's their sole job is to break in footballs.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
they get new
awesome.
balls and they just start scrubbing them, breaking them down, just to make them, you know, get the feel better. But yeah, no, they take a while to break in, especially those NFL balls, like in the league, they get those. Those take forever to break in, but once they do, like that's why those older, the ones that are more beaten up, that's what all the QBs, you know, they love.
Huh. Interesting.
You care at all on defense? Does it play a factor?
Not really. You just got to catch whatever the quarterback throws.
You don't catch it, that's why.
But I would say like I do hate new balls, like brand new like footballs, because it's legit, like he said, like breaks your fingers. I mean, the laces are like really hard compared to like a broken down ball. Like they do brush it with like, or like they'll put mud, like they'll even throw like mud and stuff on the ball.
Really?
Yeah, and like try to just break it in, make it like a little bit worn down. I have seen some footballs that Kev throws. He has a ball that he keeps on him all the time, which is completely different than like the balls we get.
He does have a K7
Yeah,
customized.
the customized
Really?
K7 football. Yeah, he walks around with it all the time. So Kevin, if you're watching, you got a good football. So yeah, that's what
That's
what
funny.
I'd say.
So for the championship game last year, did y'all change the football?
I think he just got it.
Okay.
After this offseason, he's been using it, but I think we're using the regular ones in that game.
Okay. So if he steps up and becomes a starter, does he get to pick the balls, or how does that work?
I think he I mean, if it's regulation, I don't see why he couldn't use that one. Maybe there's a rule or something, but I don't know. Maybe
Interesting.
we might see that one in action.
That's cool. We'll have to look out for that.
Yeah.
See if when he
Different
comes in, if
football,
there's a
yeah.
different football.
So what's that dynamic been like? Just like having two guys that, you know, like I know Coach Lashley talks about, like
Right.
you have two starting quarterbacks. What is that? How's that been like? How does it affect like the receivers or like the environment?
Yeah, it's been really fun, honestly, to see them compete at the high level that they are right now. Their relationship, from what I can see, is really collaborative. They get along well together. They help each other out. In the midst of probably the biggest battle, the biggest QB battle of their lives. So it's just cool to see that relationship continue to build. As far as day-to-day stuff and us dealing with that, we give both of them are getting a very fair shake. Able to compete. Everybody gets reps with everybody. So ones will get Kevin, Preston, both will get reps with ones and the first O line and the first receiver. So who can we see who's doing what with who. But no, it's been really competitive. Both of them are playing really well right now, and I'm excited to see how it kind of shakes out.
Interesting.
I'm looking forward to whatever happens.
I don't even think we knew that there was, not before you said that, like, but I just mean in general, like that there was really a competition. We just assumed, at least I did, that it was just going to be Preston because he was a starter.
Yeah.
But it does seem like there's been some talk about that, so it's interesting.
Yeah, excited to see 20 days, and then we'll find out.
No
how
doubt.
it-
No doubt.
Yeah,
it's gonna go.
That's crazy.
Very
Y'all
close.
excited for that? Like, what's the mindset of like we're 3 weeks away from your first trip to Nevada?
I think for us, older guys, like we're just chomping at the bit. Fall camp, as we enjoy playing football. Fall camp's like we're not in that grind headspace. We get to experience another fall camp and go through that, but at the same time, it's like all right, we're ready to get going, ready to get into the action. So I think for us, it's just only a matter of time, and we're ready to roll when it comes. But maybe the young guys might be a little nervous. But that's why we got a few weeks, get them a couple more reps before we get in there. So.
Yeah, I think it's crazy because I feel like it was kind of just yesterday we were starting summer workouts, and then just yesterday we were breaking the rock, and then now we're 10 practices in with 5 left, and then about to start game planning for Nevada like next week. And so I think it's we say it all the time, like the days are long, but like the years go by fast, or like the weeks go by fast, and so. Really just getting a chance for myself, this being my last go around, just really trying to enjoy and maximize every single day, cultivate relationships with guys on the team, be able to, relate to one another and actually be out there, be ready to compete and actually form a team. Because like in these days is when you form, a team. We got guys that just came in, that transferred in that might not have done, summer workouts with us or, spring training with us. And so these, camps and these family activities that we have to do is like opportunities for us to see our team gel one another, build that chemistry, build that rapport. So when we go to Nevada, it's not, people pointing fingers at each other or why did you do this, or, people taking things personal, but more of us, just showing that family atmosphere.
Yeah, and you mentioned the rock. Is that, I feel like I noticed that last year. Is that a newer thing, or has that been happening before?
So that's Coach Grizz's, our head strength coach,
Okay.
Sean Griswold, his kind of tradition for the teams he's been around. Kind of just that climb, that steady climb to ultimately we reach the peak, which was the end of our summer training in this case. And then when we get there, it's kind of, we're breaking the rock to kind of say, we've done what we needed to do. Let's go attack our goal. And then we have a rock for every single team, every game we play down the road. So every win, we get to break a rock, and that's just kind of breaking through that threshold of, we put in the work and did what we needed to do, and, we continue to climb that mountain. So I think it's a really cool tradition. Yeah. I don't think Grizz gets enough credit for it, so everybody breaking rocks out there, credit to Coach Grizz. And yeah, I love it.
That's cool.
What do they do with the rock after you break it?
Whoever gets the honor of breaking the rock, player of the game, MVP of the game, gets to keep, a piece of the rock they broke. So it's like a little souvenir.
That's cool.
Well, all of the coaches' kids are like in there, like
right.
So as soon as the game's over, and like as soon as somebody breaks it, like you just see like
it's a party.
Lashley's kids, Coach Crumb's kids, Coach T, all of the kids are in there throwing water and just grabbing pieces of the rock and like, Mom, look, like what I'm saying, like flashing it. So like players, I don't think like the champion. I think even the Tulane game. I think like I want to say I don't even remember. I
think Lashley broke it.
Yeah, Coach
Lashley broke
it. They wanted
it.
Kevin to break it, but Kevin ended up giving it to Coach Lashley, and Coach Lashley broke it. And then I think like that was the only game I've seen players take a piece of the rock. Usually like they're gone by the time we get back. The kids already took them.
Yeah,
so it's pretty fun dynamic.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Have you broken a rock yet?
Nah.
Me neither.
Yeah,
I never got to break a rock either.
Never broke a rock.
This is the year.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
We'll get a couple. Get a couple out.
So I'm just curious, what's the difference between summer camp, fall camp? Kind of what do those two look like compared to each other?
So summer camp, just right before that fall camp period, it's more so just workouts with our strength coaches, a lot less time with our actual, position coaches and those guys, but more so just with the team and our strength coaches working out. Maybe twice a week we'll have like an OTA style practice where we're just shirts and shorts, like 45 minutes to an hour, just like a quick walkthrough or run through of a few plays. But honestly, summer camp is pretty mellow compared to fall camp, where we get into that and it's 6 a.m. to we're getting home at 9 p.m. With like a maybe 2 hour lunch break in the middle. But for most of the day we're locked in doing something, whether it's meetings, walkthroughs, practice, lift. More meetings. So that's kind of the fall camp schedule. So summer camp is much more tame, much less activity, and then you get into the grind in fall camp. So,
and is it an advantage to get started a week early for playing week 0, or
I guess
how does that feel? Does it feel different to you guys, or
it does feel different? Not seeing everybody else, other teams in camp, being one of the only teams in camp right now. But I mean, as far as like, the grind, the wear and tear and everything like that, it's pretty much the same. Timeline's the same, days in camp's the same. So just a little earlier.
Yeah, I would say, I kind of said this the other day, my birthday, well, both of our birthdays.
That was the only weird thing.
Yeah. So my birthday is July 28th. So usually, like the last summer workout would be like July, like 25th, 26th. And then we'll report like August 2nd or 3rd. to start for camp. So with that week 0, everything got pushed up a week. So we were doing paintball on my birthday, and I think we had practice or an off day on yours.
Yeah. Got lucky on that one.
Yeah, he got lucky. But yeah, we had a team activity, so I just went to dinner with my family after that. But that's the only difference. I would say it's a little bit earlier, but I think it kind of hits you a little faster because I mean we're going to be one of like 6 or 8 teams playing that first weekend. So, you get a lot of eyes on you. A lot of other teams can start, seeing what we have. And, we get a chance to get a lot more bye weeks, which I'm appreciative of. I think we play 3 games. It's like a 3-game. Yeah, we play like 3 games or 4 games, I think. Or 3 games.
3 games bye, 3 games bye, 3 games bye.
So, like, that's like
that,
love. So, like, I wish we would have had a week 0 game almost every year.
Right.
But I think that's kind of just how the schedule had worked out with Vanderbilt, kind of, pulling out of that agreement and some
How
other
disappointing is that for you guys?
Yeah. I know fans loved it. Like, we played Vanderbilt when I was at Stanford my junior year, and our fans enjoyed it, like Nashville, like the whole atmosphere, SEC, right? And I know, like, y'all would have loved Nashville going out on the town. I know people were looking forward to that, tailgating. And all of that type of stuff. For us, I mean, I think, it's kind of disappointing too, getting a chance to play at SEC school, going to there, probably having a good time. And then, kind of just dominating was what it would have been, the goal. But, now hats off to Nevada for, taking a game, and we can't wait to, compete against them week 0.
Yeah, they now have 13 games on their schedule. They're playing more than anyone this season.
Nevada?
Yeah, because they fly to Hawaii, and like if you go to Hawaii in a non-conference game, then the NCAA like gives you an extra game to like make up those costs.
I did not know that.
So
that's cool.
It's interesting.
So what's the mindset of this team going into this season? Are y'all doing anything different to prepare for being in this new conference and the like elevated competition that comes with it?
I would say we're trying to keep the main thing, right? Like football is football at the end of the day. He's played, Arkansas, he's played Texas. I was in the Pac-12. I was playing, Washington, Notre Dame, all of the top teams, right, that are constantly in the college football conversation. So I think in terms of like work ethic, I don't think anything needs to be changed in terms of, how much like it's not going to be a certain play that's going to be more effective than another, right? It's more of just intentionality and consistency. Each and every game, is going to be one of those Memphis type games or one of them Tulane type games in terms of if you're not, firing or if you're not, locked in on each and every possession, then it could cost you in the end. And so I think as players, what our mindset is really just be intentional. We have an older team, senior leadership kind of heavy. In terms of every position group, you got Jake with the receivers, you got, Rooster with the running backs and LJ, and then with the tight ends, RJ's been around for a long time. We brought in Hibner from Michigan, who's doing an excellent job, making plays left and right, being versatile, bringing that Michigan pedigree kind of to our team. You got Elijah Roberts with the D-line, Kobe Wilson, Ahmad Walker, myself, Brandon Crossley. So we have guys, we have guys that are been doing college football for a long time and kind of know what it looks like. And so I think that's what we're trying to lean on and what Coach Lashley leaned on. Like, it's a player-led team. So we're only going to go as far as we lead the team. And so I think we have a really good opportunity ahead of us. You get one chance to make a first impression. And I think we all are understanding that type of gravity that it's holding for this season.
I think that's really well put. I think he hit it on the head with the experience. I'll just add the depth this year I think is going to be really important and, kind of crucial for us. And we might have not had as much in the past. I'm just thinking of, all the position groups and all the depth we have at every single position. So I'm excited to kind of see guys step into new roles, when we need them the most, when we hit it, adversity at some point in this season. So I think that's going to help us a lot.
Yeah, I would say that's like always been the biggest like difference in us and in Power 5 teams.
Right.
We've always had the ones have been on the same level.
Right.
But the depth.
Right. The second we
hasn't
drop
been-
off.
Yeah.
So where do you see that depth coming in the most? Like, are there any like stars you think that are coming right now?
Our D-line, like we have 1s and 2s and 3s of D-line that are just like ready to roll. Receivers, we obviously rotate, we have a 6-man, hockey team receiver room rotation, and all of us can go. And even behind that, 7, 8, 9 guys that like you don't hear much of, but guys that are just doing really well, progressing every day in practice and continuing to up their game. And then everyone, quarterback room, we got two guys, and
Keldrick is cold.
and then another, and
Yeah.
guys all over the place. So a lot of dudes on this team, and like I said, dudes are gonna have to step up at some point, and somebody's gonna get hurt. There's gonna be adversity at some point. So I'm excited to see who steps up and where.
That's awesome. I'm super excited about it as a fan.
Yeah.
Like seeing, especially last year, the lines particularly, like watching the Louisiana Tech game,
Right.
and like just like watching the line and then Louisiana Tech ending up on their back.
Right.
It's like,
Our D line
then
is nasty.
this is just insane.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think it was like 6 sacks or something. Like
Was
the
it
first
game one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something crazy. Like Kilgore had like 2 or 3. Elijah Roberts had like 2. Like it
Right.
was like crazy.
We're just a whole nother level now, and then we're leveling up again this season. So,
Exactly.
which is
100%.
awesome. So how big was it that Scott stayed around Coach Simons? I think there was a lot of nerves among fans that he would find another offer and then leave and go somewhere else. But now, being a Power 5 team, Power 4 team, like how big
Power
is it
3.
for y'all? Power 3. That's
Forget
right.
the Big 12. Yeah.
yeah. They're weak.
Yeah, I would say it was huge. Kind of weighed into a little bit of my decision as well, because I had an opportunity to go, to the draft last season if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But talk to him, talk to Coach Hundley, some of those kind of coaches, and see where their head was at, because obviously you have a top 25 defense. As effective we were on third down and sacking a quarterback. He was definitely going to get opportunities to go elsewhere and be a DC or even a head coach at some schools. And so he said he was committed to this program. He loved to be around, loved coaching us, and really wanted to continue to run it back and build something here. And so I think it was huge for him to stay. For a lot of guys on the team, a lot of guys that had grew a lot through last season. Isaiah Wakobius, who had an excellent season, and it doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion, of how great that he went. Even from week 1, he wasn't starting to week 4, week 5, coming up with huge game-changing plays, interceptions, leading us and help leading us in the back end. And so I think his growth, his development is a tribute to Coach Simons, who works with us firsthand as safeties. And so it's beautiful when your position coach is also like your coordinator, because I'm understanding what he's thinking in certain situations just based on meeting. So if it's 3rd and 6, I already have an idea in my head what he's going to call. Are we going to heat him up this week? Are we going to play more coverage this week? Are we going to get sticky and try to play man? So just having those tools and those conversations with them throughout the week is all a lot beneficial for us on Saturday. So I think it was huge, him staying. I think our defense this season is going to continue to elevate. We brought in a lot of great talent from different schools. Tank is a beast. Mike Lockhart is a beast. Jared from Miami is a beast. Abor has a lot of potential at Ohio that came from Ohio State. And so I think everybody kind of coming back and running it back for another year is a tribute to Coach Simons and the dedication that he puts into the game.
I don't think enough is said about the job he's done, because, we started school 2016, 2017. Nobody could turn around that defense. It was so bad. And so,
Couldn't
the fact that
tackle,
he's done that has been, incredible. And he deserves, at some point, I'm sure he'll move on, and he would deserve that for sure. But, yeah, he seems like he's doing an incredible job. So
Yeah, he's killing it. We definitely see that. And the defense was, just a whole nother animal last year. It was really cool to see.
Absolutely. So both of y'all are team captains. I'm really interested just to hear kind of what your story is of what it was like becoming a team captain, what it's like being a team captain, what are some of the most rewarding and some of the most challenging aspects of that as well.
Yeah, I'll start. I think the process of becoming a captain didn't start with that as the goal. I think ultimately to be a captain and be a leader of people, you have to first get yourself right, in order to ultimately take that step. So that was a big thing for me, was getting myself right, and a lot of that came over that COVID period, honestly, which was my freshman year of college. After that freshman season, COVID hit, and I kind of flipped a switch. Was able to meet some people, new mentors, and just start really doing things the right way consistently, day in and day out, and everything kind of changed right then and there. Since then, I was super consistent, had a couple good years at Rice, obviously transferred here, and just kind of kept that routine and those patterns and those habits And then ultimately when I got myself, to that point where I was comfortable, then you can start bringing other people along, getting other people involved in those good habits. And if they want to join your routine, get them in there. Or if they want to create their own, help them create their own. And then just start building from there. And then ultimately when you do enough and you build relationships around the building, and people become comfortable with you. People can come up to you, ask questions, this and that. They trust you. You build that trust, as well as obviously the production on the field. That's always has to remain consistent. But then you ultimately, if you're lucky enough, earn that title. And since I've had that title, pros and cons, goods. Obviously, you have a voice around the team. You have the respect of the players and guys that are ready to go for you and put their bodies on the line every game for you. And that's amazing feeling to have, and a great responsibility for me. On the flip side, it's you, like I just said, the responsibility factor can be maybe stressful at times. Knowing that you're the leader of the group, the captain of the ship. In my case, it's just the receivers, but the offensive side of the ball as a whole. And just wearing that responsibility and creating that example for the team day in and day out, and just remaining consistent with that. So that can be challenging at times because we all have good days and bad days. So even on the bad days, being that same leader, good character guy for the team is always important. So.
Yeah, I would say for me, it kind of started. I was a freshman at Stanford, and one of the seniors in the room, his name was Malik Antoine, and he showed me kind of the ways of how to be a really good leader. In terms of he would meet with the freshmen, like us defensive backs, and talk us through every single coverage. We would watch practice together. We would do all of these things, and he was the one leading the ship. Like, our position coach didn't tell him to do that. He wanted to do it because he wanted to set an example for this is how we operate. This is how we communicate with each other. And so it kind of started with that when I seen him kind of show me kind of ways to be an effective leader, the voice he had on the team, the respect he had from his peers, and how I looked up to him. And so kind of going to my junior year, I ended up, breaking my foot in preseason. So I missed 10 games. And so during that time, there was a freshman. His name was Jimmy Wyrick, and he was going to be stepping up into the new starting nickel role, which I was playing. And so I kind of took him under my wing and kind of, tried to show him tricks and trades because I knew he had to be ready by week 1 because I was going to be out for a minute. And so kind of started with that, kind of trying to help out other people, one-on-one, building connections. And then ended up being a team captain my senior year at Stanford. Had a great time. That communication that he talks about, the leadership, the consistency, people respecting you. Those are all of the great things that came with it, transferred over here. And for me, it was a culture kind of different because I haven't been in that situation. Kind of felt like freshman year of high school all over again, or college, in terms of I knew probably around 8 to 10 guys on the team on a personal level. Everything else I kind of just seen on TV, so I didn't know how people operated. I didn't know how to talk to people, how people respond to positive feedback, or do they respond more to me, hey bro, lock in, so learning that dynamic and learning the team. So it was a learning curve for me kind of in the spring. Didn't really say too much, kind of led more by example compared to, trying to bring guys along and balancing that dynamic of, the leadership that was already on the team and not wanting to infringe on that, but also, wanting my voice to be heard to some guys. And so kind of moving towards, camp in that spring and that summer, kind of stepping more into that role once I was more comfortable with the guys, especially in my position group. So just had a bigger voice, and that just comes with time and consistency and learning each other. And then I would say the biggest reward for me is seeing guys reach another level of their own potential that they didn't, feel like they couldn't reach on themselves, or, finally letting a guy get over the hump of something they've been struggling with a lot of the times. And so I would say the negative aspect, I mean, sometimes, I feel like as, a captain, it feels like everything is kind of falling on you in terms of if the defense isn't operating at a high level. I'm reflecting, I'm taking it hard on myself. Did I not say what I needed to say? Did I not, give 100% on this play? What's going on? Reevaluating and reflecting, doing a lot of self-reflection. And so that can be lonely because every day you're not going to have a great day, but you still have to be operating at a high level. If not, then you feel like it could be a drop-off. And so, I would just say having that attention to detail all the time is one of the biggest challenges. But if you can balance it right, you have, other leaders on the team you can talk to, and, even coaching staff, then I think it could, not be as bad as it might seem.
Well said. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I think we were talking a little bit ago about fall camp getting started. It seemed like yesterday y'all scrimmaged. Is that right?
Yeah, first scrimmage.
I saw a crazy catch by you.
Had a good one yesterday.
Yeah, that was
a beautiful ball by Preston. Beautiful ball.
So, how was it? Like, was this the first time y'all scrimmaged this season?
Yeah, first time real scrimmage. I mean, scrimmage. It was kind of a practice-y scrimmage. Okay. It wasn't super official, but we were live. Live ACC refs. Live to the ground, tackle everything. I thought it was a really good day. I thought the young guys got a ton of work, which was super nice. Guys that wouldn't get too many reps in practice got to come out and show what they have, and there was some surprises. That was awesome to see. The old guys got the reps they needed, but didn't get too beat up or banged up, which was awesome and pretty constructive. And so yeah, I think it was a pretty good day.
That's awesome. How was it for the defensive side?
Offense kicked our butt. Man. I didn't even want to talk about it.
At the beginning, it was defense, but as the day went on, it was.
Yeah, I mean they had a lot of explosive plays yesterday, and that's in the safety room, and really on defense. What we try to do is we want to win on third down. We want to get off the field, win on third down. We want to limit the run game, and then we want to limit explosives. You do those three things, you should be a top 25 defense. And so we gave us some explosives yesterday. But, once they dig into the red zone, though, I think they scored one time or two times in the red zone, which was, out of 6 or 7 possessions. So wasn't terrible. We had a saying, it's never as good and it's never as bad as it might seem walking off the field. So when you walk off the field and you think you had a great day, and then you turn the film on, it's like, well, actually, I messed up on this, and this. And then on the flip side, it's like, man, I just couldn't do anything right today. And then you turn the film on, well, I did this, and this right. So it's never as good and it's never as bad as it might seem, but
it's good.
I give the day yesterday to the offense.
Coach Lehman, 2017 Bosco. I had 3 drops in a game, and he came up to me after the bus. I was sulking. He was like, hey, remember this. Nothing is ever as good or as bad as it seems. It stuck to me to this day. Good quote. Just had to, shout out Coach Lehman.
That's great.
Good
Bosco.
I'm curious, for both of you in the different ways, what is the hardest thing about the position you play, and then what's your favorite thing? Because I know for you, nice. You have a script, of course, and you're a lot more reactive to which could be harder, could be easier. So I'm just curious what you guys think about that.
I would say the hardest part about playing receiver, well, in our offense, is being in shape. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to run, go and go and go and go. But no, I would say the hardest part about being receiver is I do believe it's the most dependent position on the field. The line's got to hold up. You got to have enough time to throw the ball. QB's got to find you. Go through his reads. You got to get open. You got to run a good route. You got to catch the ball. It's got to be a catchable. So it's so many things that have to go right just to complete a pass and get you a ball. And then anything over 7, 8 targets, and that's an awesome game for a receiver. So to only get it that many times, and for that being a great game, you got to do a lot with maybe a little. And then the most fun is you get to make highlight plays. You get to be Sports Center top 10, the one-handed snags, the
dancing,
the
and
mosses, all the funs of the juke.
They do everything.
Getting the run after catch, all that stuff. That's that's the dream. Game-winning catches. That's so there's a lot of fun to it, but it is a dependent position, So,
I would say probably the hardest part is more the details of playing safety. There's at each and every play, if your eyes aren't right, then you're gonna be lost as to how much RPOs and play action passes, and even trick plays that some teams do. So I would say the hardest part is not trying to do too much, right? Just do your job. And as a defense, he talks about being dependent. Everything is dependent on each and every person out of that 11 to do their job at a very high level on defense. If the D-line doesn't run their stunt right, then the linebackers now have a guard or a tackle leading up to them. And then now the safety is in a one-on-one with 50 yards of space with the running back, and it's college football. And, people are extremely good, extremely talented. So I would say just like the little details of everything, making sure your eyes are right, your keys are right, your pad level is right, all of those little things. But I'd say the most fun, man, is really just being a nuisance to the offense. Like I just love like being that, like, you know, fly on the wall, or like that bug that they just can't get rid of. So, you know, coming up, making tackles on screens, or, you know, if they, you know, try to do like a double move or something like that and you just lock it up. Getting interceptions, like, you know, taunting the offense,
punting the football to our sideline when he intercepts it.
Yeah, you know, just like some of those things you got to keep. You know, you got to keep the offense, because I feel like, you know, it's college football, it's new football, like everything's so offensive oriented and offensive heavy. You know, targeting left and right. You can, you know, barely hit. You know, you got to place receivers down nowadays on the ground and make sure they're coddled to not get a penalty. So like I feel like as a defensive player, like the most rewarding part is like when the game is over and that offense is like, yeah, like, you know, those guys play extremely hard on defense, and like they made it a long day for us. Like I think that's the most rewarding part of a defense, is just being a nuisance to the offense.
So I have a follow up on that. This is probably a really hard question to answer, but like, what are some tips for you to diagnose, like, when you don't know if it's a run or pass, or like, what are some things that you look for to say like, okay, I know what's going on here, I don't know what's going on here, etc.
Yeah, so I'd say film study kind of helps me with a lot of that type of stuff. But like, there's usually 3 things that won't really lie to you: the tackle, the end man on the line of scrimmage, or the tackle, whoever that might be. If it's a tight end, then it'll probably be the tight end. The quarterback can lie to you, but I really try to look at like the end man on the line of scrimmage, because if it's a pass, he's going to give you a high hat read. If it's like a run or RPO, he's going to come down a little bit lower to try to, you know, get a little surge. So if I see high hat read, then I'm already knowing that it's okay. It's probably a pass or like a running back draw, but a draw I won't have to show up really for as a safety. So kind of just looking at that, looking at film study, some tendencies. Sometimes quarterbacks have little ticks. If it's a pass, they might, you know, look to a receiver, look back at the ball, then look back at the receiver. Okay, then I know it's a pass. Or like if it's a run, you know, maybe it's, you know, they're not looking anywhere, they're just getting on the ball, trying to hand it off. So just picking up little things like that, a lot of small details. Some quarterbacks look one way just to get you to move and then go to the other way. Some other quarterbacks just stare at one side the entire time. So I think it's kind of just like little tips and tricks. I remember I was watching one quarterback. Every time he was getting ready to throw the ball, he always tapped the ball. So every time I knew he tapped the ball, I knew like he never tapped it and pump faked. It was always like he'd drop back, get to the drop, tap, and then he'd throw. So every time he tapped, I'm already moving, just because I've seen it so many times on film.
Huh. So who do you feel your main adversary is? Like, is it the receivers? Is it the quarterback? As a safety,
I would say for me, I think it's more of the quarterback, being like a high safety. Like if I was more of a nickel, right, then I think it's probably more like receivers. Because when I played nickel, I was more of I'm not necessarily focused on the scheme that the offense is running. I'm more focused on the player and how he, you know, operates. If it's a out route, how does he stem? If it's a slant, if it's a dig, if it's a post, like how is he coming off the ball? Whereas quarterback, for me, being a high safety, is more of like range and diagnosing plays and reacting pretty fast. And so I think I try to toy with the quarterback more than anything. And so like I try to get on Preston and Kevin's nerves all the time. Like even if we're not like in, you know, the facility, like, or even if we're not on the football field, like just in the locker room, like, you know, just mess with them, nag with them a little bit, just so when they see me out there, if we're in like one high, you know, maybe they, you know, try to do a little bit too much. So yeah, I like messing with them too. Those are my 2 favorite. And then Keldrick, I call him my nephew. So that's my dog. So.
And then Jake, what are some things you look for? Like, I guess also a question with this is like how structured like your routes are versus like maybe you notice like maybe he's leaning one way, or I'm not a football expert, but like what are some things you look for like, oh, I got him
Right.
You know?
Yeah, a big thing for, playing receiver is just recognizing the shell of the defense, corner, safety, or corner, safety. One high, two high, recognizing that right away.
Mm-hmm.
It can be tough, in our offense specifically because we play so fast.
Right.
So, like, we're on the ball, snapping the ball, and I don't even see, you know what I'm saying? I'm just already into my route. I haven't even got a chance. But when we do slow it down a little bit, we're able to analyze, okay, that corner's pressed up. He's his eyes locked on that outside receiver. This is probably some man look, you know what I'm saying? If he's off, he's bailing off. We got a one high safety. It's a 3 look. Two high safeties getting off the hash, obviously a cover 2. If we can identify that before the play starts, definitely gives you, it changes your route. If I'm running a route and I think it's cover 3 and then it changes to, 2 high, cover 2 right off the snap, then I got to adjust my route and run something a little different. So definitely helps if you can recognize it. Right. Although as fast as we play, sometimes I would say I'm only seeing what's going on half the time. We're going so fast. Like there's no time to analyze you're just going, kind of picking it up mid route. But when you can, it definitely helps for sure.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so we were just talking about in the facility, you're messing with them. And coming up here in like a few days, right? The new facility is supposed to open. How excited are y'all for
we can't wait.
End zone complex?
We cannot wait. We're counting the days. I was talking to somebody in the elevator the other day, but it was the first time like I looked out at the facility and I really saw like it finally coming together. Like it was like just now getting finished up. It was bare bones for so long. We did a couple tours in the spring and summer camp, and it was just bare bones, pretty empty. But to see it really come together as quick as it did, it's super exciting. So
that's awesome. Have y'all been in Ford yet?
The stadium
for fall camp?
Like practice? No, haven't practiced in it. Because like the whatever, I think that's the south side end zone is like
where the Weber, where they're legit building the complex.
That end zone, like the grass is still a little torn up and stuff, so they're still finishing that up in the back.
So I have a question on the video board because on the like SMU like on 3 board, like a lot of people have been complaining that it looks too small. Or what have y'all seen like
the
in
one
person?
On the new,
the new one,
the new facility, because they put another one. They put 2.
That was the one last year.
Oh, that was
the one that was the one they built from last year.
It's on like a pole on the outside. Yeah.
No,
the new one.
The new one looks plenty big, honestly.
That's
from what I could see.
Yeah, I think the picture probably doesn't do it justice.
Okay.
But like on the field, like
it
looks huge, and even if sitting in like the stadium.
Yeah, the picture was from like above the stadium.
Yeah,
so it's like from that perspective. No one's going to see the board from that perspective.
Yeah.
Watching the football game.
It's plenty big enough.
Yeah.
And then they added like some huge speakers on the side. That's supposed to like be pretty loud as well.
Right.
But yeah,
it looks awesome though. But
how they closed it off, how it's like a big bowl shape
I like
down
that.
instead of like how it was with the grass hill. Obviously iconic, but the finished product looks a lot a lot cleaner.
I was against the grass.
You didn't like it?
I didn't like like the lawn. No, I know that's an unpopular opinion, but
I mean, it was fun coming out of the tunnel, seeing the hill packed, but at halftime,
everybody's gone.
Yeah, well, the hill was packed, but the stands weren't.
Right.
It's like, I'd rather the stands be packed.
But
true.
And just the sound too. It helps with the noise.
You want that one?
Yeah, sure. Jonathan, we were going to ask you. We saw that you're on the watch list for the Werfel Trophy.
Nice.
Wanted to let you kind of like, I don't know what plug's the right word, but like kind of the stuff you're involved in, like what you're doing in the community. And yeah, congrats on that, dude.
Yeah, so appreciate it. I had got a text from one of like my old Coppell High School. Like he worked in like the administration, and said that they were doing some alumni project to have former athletes from Coppell kind of just do like a quick Zoom, talk about tricks and trade of like playing Division I sports, like how do you manage time doing this and that. So I ended up hopping on a Zoom interview, did that, and the lady said like I did an excellent job. She was like, would you be open to speaking, like being our keynote speaker at our like Coppell like leadership? I think it's like the Coppell, trying to get the name right, Coppell High School Leadership Committee like luncheon that they had.
Okay.
And so it's like 2 athletes from every sport that we had at Coppell. So like football, basketball, men and women's combined. So I got a chance to just kind of share my story, talk about how I was a captain at Coppell, talked about how I was a captain at Stanford, talked about how I was a captain at SMU, and some of the things that kind of helped me throughout my journey, and then did a Q&A with the students. That was extremely fun and something that, I never thought I'd get the opportunity to do. I was a part of that committee, and we didn't have any like college kids come and speak to us. So I think they're doing a great job of what they're doing now.
That's awesome.
Then after that, got a chance, my auntie, my mom's sister, is an assistant principal at an elementary school called SS Dillo in Fort Worth. And so they needed a keynote speaker for a 5th grade graduation, and kind of talked about, the transitions from elementary school to middle school, trying to having a balance, not being in homeroom 24/7, going to a new school, a new middle school, learning, lunch and, periods of the day. And then also got an opportunity to speak at our church, Antioch Christian Church, to talk to high school graduates kind of about the transition to college, how to balance that, how to stay committed in your relationship with Christ. Finding a Christian community, local people that are like-minded to, stay rooted. And that's, in my opinion, how you can continue to grow in your faith once you go to college. Because for me, going to California, it was huge it was, different because I didn't know anybody that was out there. I couldn't find a local church for a little bit. So finding those community of Christians with FCA that I was a part of the leadership team with, being able to, find those people helped me grow in my faith a lot.
That's
Thanks
awesome.
for sharing that. Yeah.
That's kind of all of our stories, is like being in the community and growing in our faith through college has just like was huge.
That's why we're friends, basically.
Yeah,
so. Exactly.
That's how we all met. So I think we're almost out of time here, but I think something that would be cool to end on would be, since you guys are opposing players, like for you, what makes him such a good receiver, and for you, what makes him
Who's you and
safety?
Him?
Huh?
Who's you and him?
Oh, I forget that we were on audio. Jake and Jonathan going back and forth.
No, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So I'll say for John, first and foremost, obviously the Stanford thing. He's just a smart player, a cerebral football player. Counts on his preparation, his film study, his, on-field stuff, his routine to, be in the right place at the right time, almost every single time. So I don't care how athletic you are. I don't care how blah, blah, blah. If you can't be in the right place, if you can't do your assignment and know what's going on the field all the time, you're not going to play. So that's first and foremost. And then on top of that, I think he's a very good leader, man. A very good, motivator, very good teammate. Obviously, he sets the example with his work ethic. So he's easy to follow. So I think that's, the tops for me.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate it. I would say for Jake, he's probably one of the hardest workers on the team. I would say he really takes time to craft at his ability of playing receiver at a very high level. We're in a similar boat, not necessarily the biggest, the fastest, or the strongest, but he finds a way on third down to get open almost every single time. He's very smart in understanding leverages and understanding how people are playing them inside, outside. 2 high, 3 high shell, or 1 high shell. So I'd say like his dedication to playing receiver, you can tell he's very polished at understanding how to get out of routes, how to win at the line of scrimmage, and then understanding zones of, finding third downs. He's always the guy that, kind of comes up big for us on third down. So I would say his dedication to his craft.
Definitely. That's awesome.
Let's go. And last, but certainly not least, we've got to ask, we ask everybody, it wouldn't be a Mustang Mood episode without a little bit of TCU hate. So what do y'all hate about TCU?
You first.
I mean, I kind of just now got into the rivalry because of last season. But, I mean, I was never like a huge fan of TCU. Kind of growing up, I went to a camp in high school. Gary Patterson was the head coach. But I would say like what I think their fight song, I mean, they play. So if you don't know, like the TCU week, every single team meeting, they play the song and blast it. It's like 6:30, 7 a.m. in the morning, and they're just blasting it in the team room. Every single day we're out at practice, they're blasting it all at practice. So like it makes you hate the hate song because it's my fault, the fight song. I said the hate song, but I mean I don't like their fight song necessarily. I think it could be the rah rah TCU. Like,
is it the
whatever.
riff ram thing?
The little rah rah TCU. I mean I
don't know if it's the same thing, but
yeah. But they do something annoying in the middle of fight.
And then the little toad thing. Like what is that? I didn't even know what that was until like we went there and like I'm looking at the big board and it's like some like hypno.
The hypno toad.
Yeah. I'm like, bro, what are we talking
Awful.
about? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
thank you.
That toad. I don't like the toad.
Thank you for saying that. I like that.
I'll say, I can't say I hate their fans. I don't hate their fans, but those fans are kind of, you know what I'm saying, they gave it to us. After that game, after last year at TCU, I remember walking in the tunnel, those dudes were in our ears, like, you know, every name in the book, just nasty stuff. And I'm like, dang, like, whatever. Obviously part of the game, but No, they get into it. They get a little nasty, but no, it's sweeter when we come out on top because we like that.
We got them this year.
Oh, for sure.
Let's get it.
For
Awesome.
Sure.
Well, hey guys, thanks so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you for
we
having
really
us.
appreciate it. If you want to plug your social media or if
at one Jake Bailey on Instagram, on Twitter. At one Jake Bailey.
At Jonathan McGill 32. I was 32 freshman year, so I can't change my Instagram
32.
handle. Yeah, 32. So yeah,
We'll put it in the notes and stuff so people can check y'all out.
Heck yeah.
Awesome.
appreciate it.
No, thank you guys for having us on today. Seriously.
Yeah.
Great
This has
time.
been a joy. So thanks
Super
for being
fun. We just love meeting the players and like getting to know y'all because I think it's just super important because for a lot of fans you're just a number on a field making plays, but to like actually meet and get to know y'all is super cool.
And y'all are teaching us a lot about things about football we didn't know because we love football, but like we played in high school, but like you know that's different.
I didn't even play in high school.
I played 6-man. I played 6-man football, so
Yeah.
it's very different.
there you go.
6 man.
Yeah, it was a small school. Yeah. it was really weird. But anyways,
That's awesome.
thank you guys for teaching us. I feel like I'm learning a lot, so it's fun.
For sure. And thank you to the fans, however many number of y'all are out there. But
episode 10.
Our moms,
yeah, our moms.
maybe our dads. Yeah.
My dad. Actually, I talked to my dad. I said it was number 3. He's like, "Why'd you say it was my number 3 podcast? It's actually my number 2 podcast." So
Okay.
We're
Not
moving
too
up,
bad.
baby. Let's
moving
go.
up, baby.
Not too bad.
Yeah, but thanks for listening to us while you're, driving on a run, watering your plants, whatever. So
Yeah. So like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and
leave a review.
Yeah, leave a review.
Voice memos.
On Spotify if you want to do that. Links in the bio.
Ask a question.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, guys.
Oh,
Pony up.
Pony up.
Pony up.
Sir.